Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on my channel. This is minisbykev. I'm Kev and I'm a miniaturist living in New England who likes to make miniatures about a lot of different kinds of stuff. After I started working on the 24 scale dollhouse, I kind of wanted to work on it again. If you haven't watched the last video, I'm making a bakery with a like apartment kind of thing on top of it in 24 scale. This is not my normal scale, so if you're a 24 scale person, you're probably gonna hate everything I'm doing. You're probably gonna think it looks terrible. That's okay, because we're learning, and this channel's all about making mistakes and learning as you go, because I certainly make quite a few of them. In this week's video though, I wanted to work on the little case that's gonna hold some of the like baked goods inside of the bakery. So that's what we're gonna be working on this week. I'm a little nervous about it. I have an idea of what I'm doing. Ideas don't always work out, you know? Sometimes they just don't. So I'm gonna turn on the camera and we're gonna get started on working on the bakery case to go inside the 24 scale bakery. A lot of buzzwords there, you know, a lot of buzzwords. The other day off camera, I started working on this, which is the idea for the shelving thing. I will say that I got inspired by Bentley House Miniatures display case that she made for her abandoned coffee shop. If you have not seen the video, I'll link it below so you can go take a look at it. But I kind of, I like the idea of what she did. So I wanted to do more of like a leaning case, because in the scene in Kiki's Delivery Service, which if you didn't watch last week's video, this is like loosely based off Kiki's Delivery Service. I believe that the case kind of slants. There's a scene where she's leaning against it and I'm pretty sure it slants. So I made this at first and then I tried to translate it to be smaller, but I didn't like how that looked. I'm pretty sure this is a 24th scale Kiki and she just looks so much taller than that. That can't be right. Was it this one? Yeah. Maybe this is what it was. And I was like, I don't like that size either. So I went ahead and continued over here and going with this. It's about a little over half the size she is. So this is what I'm going with. I'm gonna go ahead and start out because this is the bottom and then this is the top. I'm gonna have it slightly slant about a third of the way up. The only thing I'm worried about is the back side, because I realized that I can't make a back on it because it needs to be open faced. That'll be fun, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is the side shape, this is the front shape, this is the bottom, and this is the top. And I have this mat board from my friend Bridget. If you've seen some of my old videos, you may know she gave me a bunch of mat board, and this is some from it. I'm gonna have to paint over it because it cannot be green. It needs to be brown. Let's get started on cutting this mat board, and hopefully we can get it in the right shape we need to get it in. I'm really trying to experiment with more of my editing and like how I'm talking in the videos and doing live reactions rather than voiceovers, because my microphone, like I moved to a new house and my microphone just kind of, I don't know, there's something weird about it, and sometimes it records really quietly and it doesn't show up until like I've already uploaded it to YouTube, so I don't even see it in the editing software, so it's a little annoying. So I'm trying to just experiment more with doing live voiceovers, and I hope that everyone watching likes them. Okay, this is 4 inches, so I need to measure out 4 inches. I don't really like this beveled edge though, actually. This side's ripped a little bit. Maybe I need a different piece of mat board. I didn't realize this was beveled. To be honest, I'm just feeling kind of lazy, so let me grab a different piece of mat board. All right, here's a new piece. This is also from Bridget. This one's yellow though. This one is not beveled, so I can use this one just fine. This should be enough mat board to make the whole display case as well. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How you doing? Doing good? Let me know. Tell me in the comments. How tall does this need to be? Let's go ahead and cut this. So it's going to be 4 inches by 1.5 inches. Also, if you weren't here last week, this is what we're working on. This is gonna be the bakery. This is gonna be the apartment. And yeah, it's more gonna be just like a bedroom, I think. Not gonna be able to fit a ton in there. Little trick I have is if I'm trying to get something completely straight and I don't really know how to do it, I will put them against this 1, 2, 3 block, so that way it's completely even. I don't know if this always works because if the mat board's technically not cut straight, it may not line up correctly, but this is the best I have. That seems short. That seems short. Nope, I guess that's right. That's right, but it doesn't look right. Also, this is bent a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. I'm also a little nervous that maybe this is too thick, because as you scale down, you have to scale down the thickness of an object as well, which I learned from Bentley House Miniatures. I learned a lot from her, so if you don't watch her, you should go watch her. You're gonna learn a lot. But I don't know if I can scale this down any smaller. Let's just make it and see if it looks ridiculous. Sometimes I'm still just really surprised by how small 24th scale is. Like, I understand that it's small because it's 24 scale, but I don't know, it's a little wild to me. Here, I drew out further because to do the bottom, it needs to be this length as well, and I can just cut out and already have this line ready to go, if that makes sense. I'm gonna draw a line here and another one here for like the top, and this is the right length already. So I'm gonna go ahead, that's why I overdrew. But it always just surprises me like how small 24 scale is. Like, this is so tiny. All right, that's the front of it, which still seems wicked small. Okay, that's the right size though. Oh, you know, I just realized though, this doesn't make any sense because the front of it is gonna start angling here. So I'm gonna have to cut this here so that way I can angle it to be this shape right here. So I'm gonna cut this along this so that way I can do this little shape. Although there's going to be a gap, which I'll show you later. I think I have an idea of how I'm going to fix that anyway, but I need to cut this somewhere along the way. While I was here, I went ahead and cut the bottom piece because I realized that I needed to glue this to this, but then I realized that the slant, I don't have side pieces figured out. So I need to do that, and that's gonna be a little difficult, and there's gonna be like this crack right here. You see that little gap when there's a slant? I'm gonna have to fill that with like wood glue or something before I paint it. But yeah, I'm gonna first have to figure out the side pieces, which I don't think will be too hard if I can just figure out some math in my head. It's gotta be this size at the top, this size at the bottom, so it needs to be boop, boop, boop. This is gonna be a little difficult, actually. Oh no, okay. Let's turn off the camera. This is gonna take me a second to figure out some math, and I don't like math. So it's been a little bit, and it took me way longer than I'd like to admit that what I needed to do was measure out this by this by this and another one of the side part and then slant it. I don't know. Basically, it took me a really long time to realize what I needed to do. But I started building it. I just built this little piece and then I realized I needed to cut out some more. So this is already, it's a little slanted, but I think that'll be fine. And I managed to cut out both of these. They look so small on their own. But what I remembered is this is going to be like a double one. It's not a single. I mean, I'm gonna build it as a single, but I'm gonna make it look like it was two. It's starting to come together already. These were kind of difficult to cut out, even though I figured it out. Here's the thing. I do all my sketches in here. If you've watched any of my old videos, you've seen that. And it works because I have the dots, the dot grid, right? There's a dot grid in this. However, the dots, I'm like, oh, I'll just go a little bit over and make it like connect dots, basically. But that doesn't measure out very well to what I need it to be. 1 inch and then 2 little tiny lines. And I don't know what that means. So maybe, I just think maybe a blank sketchbook would have been better. I do have a blank one for my bigger projects. I'm not gonna stop using this. I'm gonna use it and get through it. But so here are the two side pieces. Here's this. And then we have the top portion. Look at that. It's already starting to kind of look like a little case. And it honestly kind of reminds me of like the lobster case. I don't know. I'm from the Midwest and we had like when I was a kid, I'm 33. But when I was a kid, we had these cases that were full of lobsters at the grocery store that you could buy, which is weird because middle of nowhere, Illinois, why is there lobsters? Anyway, this is the slanted piece. I'm not gonna really be able to show all this together. Oh, interesting. So that's incorrect. I think I labeled these incorrectly. Yes, I did. No. So I just realized the way I've cut these side pieces, and I keep dropping, the slant no longer works. It's not long enough. This is meant to be the slant, but I technically could use it as the bottom shelf, but that's what this was supposed to be. No, this can't be the bottom shelf. This is too big. I think I mislabeled these. Yep, that's too big. This has to be the slant. But the issue I'm seeing here is even with this one, it is too small, I believe. No, maybe? Is there some kind of math that I don't know about where like when you slant something, it gets shorter? But I also have to take into account the top piece, which is not super thick, but it is a thickness. I think I'll have to recut this piece, but to be honest, this will be really easy once all the other pieces are together to cut out the piece that will fit in there. So I need to switch these around though, so I don't mess these up. Always label your pieces if you are working with a lot of similar, well, honestly, even if they're not similar size, just any pieces, you should just label them. It's just easier in the long run if you do it. All right, but that's it for me for tonight. For you, it's the same video. It'll be like 0.5 seconds, but I need to go to bed. We're gonna pick back up with this for tomorrow, my time, and 2.5 seconds for your time. Okay, it's the next day and I'm back working on this. I realized just now though that I was right yesterday / 2 seconds ago for you guys that this is the bottom shelf and this was supposed to be the slant. Because if I hold these up to the bottom, this is the exact same size, which is the size I need it to be to make the top part right here. So I'm gonna glue this together, and this is like the back piece right here. And we're gonna have like a little box. And then I'm gonna start adding on these pieces, and then we're gonna add on the top, and then I'm gonna have to cut a new slant, and then I'm gonna have to cut the little windows out. So we got some stuff to do. Got some painting to do in a little bit, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing stuff together. Yeah, and I kind of like cut this, but I realized that I like accidentally, can you see that? No? Maybe? Yeah. And that will show up when I'm painting. So this is going to be the outer part, and I will just paint this side. I think I'm gonna cover all of it in Mod Podge first, maybe like a layer of black Mod Podge from Black Magic Craft. I don't know if he came up with that originally, I'm pretty sure he did. Just to help seal it all together. It'll help like bind it, make it stronger and like sturdier. And I have found that, especially at this scale, it helps hold stuff together better. So I'm gonna go ahead first though and start gluing stuff together. Then we'll figure out what's next. Something I always forget to do when I'm making stuff is I realize that this is dry now, but this does not line up properly because I forgot to take into account the thickness of the mat board. So this does not, this little notch right here was supposed to line up here. You can't really see it, but it needs to be about probably like a 1/16 of an inch higher. So what I could do is I could cut out another one, or what I think I might do is just cut a little bit to add to the bottom. The other thing I realized, again, I don't account for these things because I'm not thinking ahead, is that when I do this and I add the little sides, the top is now too short by quite a bit actually. So I'm gonna have to cut a new top as well. See, that's like, it's not even close. That's probably like 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna cut a new one of these. This happens every time I make any kind of furniture. I always forget to equate? I forget to factor in the extra thicknesses of the mat board, but no big deal. I'll just cut another piece and we'll keep on moving. Well, first I need to glue the sides and then we'll keep on moving. I went through all that and I cut out a new piece to put in as the slant when I realized that it doesn't fit on one side. And what I realized is that I measured this as 1/16 and this little extra piece as 1/32. So I now have to take this side off and re-glue it, and I'm hoping it'll be okay. It should be fine. I mean, this is gonna be the side that's gonna be against the wall inside there anyway, like you're gonna see this side more. Okay, luckily it hadn't been on for very long, so it wasn't completely dry, but a little disappointing that I'm gonna have to figure this out now. Let's get back to doing some math, or not math, but figuring out some stuff. I don't even know if I need to fill this in right here because you're not going to see it. Although it might drive me crazy knowing that it's there. You know, like even if no one's going to see it, you'll know it's there kind of thing. And I don't want to always be thinking about the fact that I didn't finish that wall. I still think this is wrong. It's going to take a second to figure out. So, gonna turn off the camera while I figure out... No, maybe this is right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna turn off the camera and figure this out. This took a lot more than I thought it was going to actually figure out, to be honest. But I figured it out finally, and then I drew on what I'm gonna be cutting out. I want it to look like there's two different ones, and I actually might cut this and glue it back together just so you can actually tell it's two different ones and it's not so flat, if that makes sense. But I'm gonna be cutting out these inner squares. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those out. I have my heater going because it's really cold where I live, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. I'm hoping you can't. And I'm starting to get sick. So let's hurry up and get this done before I can't work on it anymore. I was going to cut these in half so that way you can actually see the crack, but what I decided to do instead, oh wait, I didn't even tell you. I cut these out. They're over here. Fun. What I'm gonna do is in the middle here, I'm gonna cut about halfway through so that way there's a dip, but not so far that it disconnects the two because it'll be easier to install this without disconnecting the two. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, I don't really know how to do it though, without hurting myself. Okay, let's go ahead and just boop. Okay, let's just go ahead and boop, boop. Okay. I don't wanna hurt myself on accident. I have accidentally cut myself with the X-Acto knife before and it's not fun. I thought about like actually taking out some of the paper, but I don't really wanna do that because this is very thin. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell that from the side though. Okay, it's gonna have to be good enough because I don't want to cut all the way through this. Okay, it's gonna be good enough. It's good enough. So now we're gonna go ahead and glue this in here. And I don't really know how this is gonna go either because it doesn't actually sit flush with this. And I just realized that's not flush anymore, whatever, that doesn't matter. But it doesn't sit flush with this. So I think I said this earlier, I'm gonna have to put some like wood glue in here to fill this crack because even when I push it all the way down, it just doesn't fill it up. But look at that, it is looking like a little display case. It's fun. It's always nice when you're making miniature and it actually ends up looking like what you wanted it to look like. Because let's be honest, if you make miniatures, sometimes you know you've made something and it doesn't at all look how you wanted. So this is a win. Oh, you know what I just realized? I still have to make the shelves to go inside of this too. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue right here even though I don't think it's gonna touch this part. I still have to make the shelves. Okay, knocking stuff over. The thing is, when you cut this much out, it gets kind of like wibbledy-wobbledy, that's not a word, but you know what I mean. It gets kind of weird, and so it sometimes makes it difficult to make things look right. Okay, let's go ahead and see. This is what I mean. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm liking how this is looking. It's kind of fun when like you're making something and you're not really sure because you've never made it before. That's not the right piece. Where's the right piece for this? Is that the right piece? That can't be the right piece, it doesn't fit. Oh, it is the right piece, weird. Okay, it's fun when you're making something that you've never made before and it's kind of like from scratch. It's just something in your brain and you don't really know if it's gonna turn out, and then when you're making it, it actually starts to look how you wanted it to, and that's just kind of fun. I do have some plastic I plan on putting in here to make it look like the glass for this. However, I'm gonna have to figure out the shelves, not glue them in, because I need to paint all of it, then put this in, and then glue in the shelves. Because if I glue in the shelves too early, I'm gonna go ahead and glue in this top part, which I think might be an issue, but whatever. If I put the plastic in too early, I will not be able to paint around it. Sorry, I'm getting sick. I'm getting all sniffly. Let's go ahead and just glue this in, even though I probably should wait for that part to dry. There's a lot of glue in this. Normally, I would probably try and clean up some of this, but I just don't know if it's gonna matter. I don't know if you're gonna see any of it. I don't know, maybe I'll clean it up in a second. All right. Oops. I really need to figure out a new setup for like my camera because it shakes too much. Is this now I'm forgetting which piece was the right one. I think it's this one. Nope, 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 stay up. Oh no, I didn't think about this, the gravity. Oh no, gravity. I didn't think about gravity. Oh wait, I can do this. Haha. I beat gravity for now. Oh no. Oh, okay. Stressful. I need to move this back piece. Nope. Luckily this doesn't glue, tacky glue gives you some time to work with stuff. So I don't have to worry about it as if it was like, what's it called? Hot glue? But it might actually be better to let this dry a little bit because tacky glue sometimes will still, like once it dries, it still has a little bit of give to it so you can still move stuff around. I think that might be the right course of action for this. Fudge. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and then I'm gonna force it into place. This is mostly dry, so now I need to go in and fill in some of the cracks in this. Namely, right here in the front, you really probably can't see it on camera, but there's a small crack that I wanna fill in, and then there is another one in here because of the slant, and you can see light through it. So I do want to do a little bit of Gorilla Glue up there as well. Not Gorilla Glue, wood glue, because it'll keep its shape. I wanna fill in this crack. I probably could do tacky glue too, actually. It's reminding me of one of those things that's outside of a gas station where you can like lift it up and there's ice in it. Do gas stations still have those? When I was growing up in the Midwest, we had these outside gas stations and it was like $1 a bag of ice or something. I don't remember exactly, but this like opened up. You guys remember those? That's what this feels like right now. Let's go ahead and get the wood glue ready. I'm wondering if I should not put it directly on it, but if I should put it on something else and then kind of like paint it on. There's so much glue just drying everywhere. I'm gonna try to put glue in this paint palette and then kind of just like wipe it on with a popsicle stick. I have this long popsicle stick, well, stir stick, whatever. I'm gonna try and paint this on, hopes that that will work a little bit better. I'd say it's working better or worse, to be honest. I just need it to like smooth out more. I am a little worried that this is gonna cause issues when putting on the glass for the front part. Like where am I gonna glue it? Because this wood glue kind of keeps its shape, and if it's too bumpy, I won't be able to glue in the top part of it. Glass, the faux glass. Okay, I think that's good. I need to see if there's any holes in the front I need to fill in. Let's just go over the front. Anyway, I am gonna go over this with the black Mod Podge, the black paint mixed with Mod Podge, the mix, just to strengthen it up. But this is going to also help strengthen it up because I'm a little nervous. This is small. I'm not used to working in this scale, and I'm a little afraid it's gonna break. So, you know, better safe than sorry. And I'm gonna wipe off most of this though. My finger. Just gonna get in those cracks if there are any. So now we need to do the bottom part. Yeah, I can see through this. I don't know if you can see it on camera. You probably can't, but the slant did add quite a big gap. I almost feel like I'm decorating a cake or something. Oh, there's a little gap right here I forgot about too. And because you're gonna be able to see the side, I need to fill that in. I'm kind of using this like it's wood filler to fill in any holes, but I don't feel like going through the hassle of getting out wood filler for this. Okay, now I need to let this dry so I can paint it with Mod Podge. Mod Podge. I always say Mod Podge. I don't know why. I know there are other people that say it that way, and I know it's technically wrong, but yep. Okay, I'm looking at how it's looking. I mean, it still needs a paint job, still needs some shelves. I should probably figure out the shelves now, shouldn't I? Bah humbug. Okay, I'll figure out the shelves now. I accidentally kind of helped myself earlier because this is the extra piece that I cut off from the I almost said lid, from the top. And this is the perfect length to fit in here. So now, ooh, how was I expecting to fit multiple shelves in here, actually? I mean, I get it's 24 scale, so the food's gonna be quite small, but doesn't it seem like you would only have one more right here? But according to my plans, I should have 2 more shelves in here. Anyway, I have this left over from this top piece, and it's the perfect length. Now I just need to figure out the depth. And I need to decide if I'm gonna have 1 shelf or 2, because that just seems like more than enough. Or should it be like this? I wish I had a 24 scale of any kind of food, but I don't. Also, I need another piece that's this size, because if I'm gonna do 2 shelves, I don't have enough cut out, which means I'm gonna have to cut more. I wish I could get your guys' opinion, but by the time you're watching this, already exists. Oh, you know what? There's a gap right here too. I just noticed. I gotta fill that in with wood glue. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit directly on here. If I can squeeze it right in out, just wipe out the excess. That was a pretty big hole I forgot about because no matter how much I measure, there's always like little tiny bits that aren't perfect. Because I'm not perfect, despite what you may believe. You know what I'm gonna do? I think that I will go ahead and cut another shelf out so I can hold them up just to see what it looks like. Also, I think I'm gonna need to sand this a little bit. Yeah, I wanna be able to hold up 2 to see what it looks like if I do 2 shelves. So let me cut out another piece and then we'll see. Okay, so now that I have them all in here, I think this is normal because I have these Playmobil figurines, which are 24 scale, and I feel like a pastry in her hand would fit on that, right? Maybe a little bit of a tight squeeze, but that's okay. I think it'll fit. I think it'll work. So I'm gonna put these in. Well, no, I'm not gonna put them in. Right now, I need to I need to paint all these with the black Mod Podge. I also wanted to do a center piece right here to make it look like this isn't one long shelf, like it's 2 units next to each other. I don't know if I should put one on each shelf or if I should cut these shelves in half and put a piece in the middle. I'll worry about that later. For now, I'm going to go ahead and just paint everything with the black Mod Podge mixture, which I need to make. One of the things about using matte board that has a color is also trying to cover up that color. It often shows through when you like go on with your base color, which is another reason, didn't realize I was off camera, another reason why I wanted to paint this with the black Mod Podge, because it will cover up the yellow pretty easily, and then I can put the actual color down that I want to use for the case, which I think I'm just gonna go with brown. I mean, in an ideal world, I would have made this out of wood. I think that would have looked really nice, but I'm not good at working with wood. And to be honest, I try to just work with what I have, and I had a lot of matte board already, trying to like save money, you know, by using what I have. And I would like to learn how to use wood more in miniatures, but in the future. For now though, I'm just gonna paint this, get this color down. It also helps deepen the colors that you put on top, because you know, if I would have put down brown on top of white and yellow, they would have a different undertone. So doing this gives it a universal undertone, and it does hold it all together, and it helps hold it together because it's glue. Well, Mod Podge, which is glue, right? I think. Just gonna paint this and let it dry, and then we'll come back. Now that this is dried, I'm working on what color to paint it, and I was looking at this, the actual room it's going in. Wait 1 second. This is the actual room it's going in, and I don't want it to blend in too much. I wanted to go this dark, but I think that this brown just might look better. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the lighter brown, then put it in here, see what it looks like, and if it's too blending in, I'll just go ahead and do the darker color. But I just, I mean, I could leave it black technically, but I don't want to. I'm gonna go ahead and paint it brown, this lighter brown, see what it looks like, and then go from there. If it's too light, I can always go darker. I mean, I could go lighter also because it's paint, but it's easier to go lighter. Nope, darker. Easier to go darker. I mean, I did dry brush the floor, so it does have more color detail to it. Ooh, this brush is crispy. I need to learn to take better care of my brushes. So there is, oh, this is bad. This brush is like maybe too far gone to use. I have to find a new one. All my good brushes are wet because I just washed them. I don't really have any. Well, I guess I know what I'm gonna be asking for Christmas. This one's old. I'm surprised this one's still hanging on. But there's more of a color variation, I think, in the floor. So even if this is similar, I think it'll stand out still. Actually, is this brush working? This one's really bad. I don't know what happened to this one. I wonder if there's a way to fix old brushes. Huge clump right there. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this brown. This is dry. I still think I want to dry brush it with the slightly darker color because I just think it looks a little too flat right now. I decided I was gonna put a piece in here and then just cut the shelves, and so I cut this out, which was kind of a nightmare. I did not show it on the screen, but I kind of had to keep cutting a little bit at a time to get it to fit. So it's gonna go right in here to separate this to make it look like it's two different units rather than one long counter. And then I'm gonna take the boards, these, I'm gonna cut these in half and span the whole thing. But I gotta wait for that to dry now before I can glue that in. Actually, I'm not gluing that in yet because I have to put in the glass. I don't know why I did that with my pinky, that was weird. Glass, before I do that. But I think that means I'm actually almost done with the shelving. Let me show you what it looks like when it's in the room. Granted, this is not done yet, so no judging. No judging. This is like kind of crazy to try and record. So this is gonna go in here. I realized actually that it is quite big. This room is smaller than I thought. I wanted to put shelves on this one, on this wall, and shelves on this wall. And now I'm starting to wonder if I'm gonna have room. I think I'm still gonna do it. I think I'm just gonna do a very skinny shelf on this wall and then like a full one, basically going up to the window on this side. This is gonna be a shelf, and then going up to the door frame on this side. There'll be 2 more shelves. Now, had I thought about this beforehand, I probably would have only done a single one and then done another counter next to it with maybe like a cash register on it. However, I didn't do that, and now I don't want to cut this in half. And I don't really want the counter to go all the way to the edge of this project, but I might still do that. I haven't decided. I might still do like another little counter right here with a little cash register, but I like the idea of people being able to walk around. So maybe I'll just put a cash register here or something. I've never made a cash register, let alone in 24 scale, so I don't know how that'll go, if I end up making one or not, but I mean, I like how it looks. It's just, it takes up a lot more room than I thought it would. This is a rather small house. I don't know why I'm so surprised. And eventually we'll start working on the top, but gotta finish the whole bottom first. Let's get back to painting and drying and getting ready to install that. It's the next day. I'm sicker, I am colder, but the show must go on, and I want to make this mini. I want to finish it today, I think. So I need to finish painting this side. I haven't even started. Glue this in, cut these, put these in. I also need to put in the glass and then dry brush it. I actually might I'm gonna dry brush it before I put the other stuff in, but I am happy. I'm off screen. I am happy with how it's looking. Yeah, I don't know. I am happy with it. So I'm not gonna be making any of the food this week because I don't know how to make polymer clay food, so that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be its own little journey. And I do have a book I thought about making some miniature food out of, but it's for 12 scale. I don't know if I could do that. size it down. I didn't know if I could size it down. I need to like move the camera because I'm off camera. Okay, gotta grab my paintbrushes. They're across the room. Early in this video when I said I couldn't find any paintbrushes, I realized a bunch were on my work desk for some reason. So I do have more, but I still probably gonna ask for some more for Christmas because I really need them. I go through them. I don't take care of them like you're supposed to. Also, I feel like the more I talk, the more my voice is gonna go out. I'm gonna put some more paint down. I gotta be careful. This is like my favorite sweater, especially when it's cold out. So if you see me wearing this a lot, that's why. But I don't wanna get paint on it. I'm not just like, this isn't all in one day. I wear the same sweater a lot. Let's see here, let's do paint over here. Try to take care of my desktop thing. That obviously doesn't happen. Like it's over that way, it's even worse. So I'm trying to like paint on top of this now. Okay, I'm gonna paint this. I need to double check, make sure there's not any spots that, okay, this is hard as a rock. Okay, so this is one of the ones across the room, and that one's like completely ruined because it did come off. That was a piece of dust. Okay, so I need to look around, make sure there's nothing that needs like another coat of paint. I think this is fine. Oh, no, this needs paint. Okay, gonna paint this, gonna paint this again, gonna paint one of these, and then I'm gonna start cutting them up. I think I was just sick recently. It's not really fair that I'm sick again. I don't even know what it is. I just got like a dry cough and it sucks. I'm gonna leave the bottom unpainted because eventually, not right away while I'm still building the rest of the room, but eventually I am planning on gluing this down. So there's no point in putting paint on this. If you are gonna be moving, like making furniture, you're moving around, I would suggest painting the bottom of it. Just so you like feel finished, you know, you feel done with it. But like I said, this one, it's gonna be glued down, so you're not gonna see that anyway. I don't tend to make furniture and then have it be movable inside the scenes I put them in. Like my alien detective office, that one, all the furniture's glued down except for the chair because I technically just hadn't ever decided where I wanted to put it and then I never went back to it. But I know some people like their stuff to be able to come out. Some people say like, oh, in the case you want to add something or move something, but I like to just glue it down and know that it's done with. I'm not gonna keep fiddling with it. I'm one of those people that need a definitive end. So I know this is done. I know I can stop working on it. Or I'll just keep tweaking it forever. Like forever. I'll never move on. While this is drying, I just want to say that if you watch my older video, my last videos on this, do you remember I originally said I wanted to put a bread oven in here? Can you imagine where the bread oven would go now knowing how big this is in this room? Where would I even put a bread oven in this? Where did I think I was gonna fit that? I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe in a bigger room it would have been cool, but I gotta work with what I got. We'll just pretend like there's a bread oven on this wall that's taken out for the miniature, so that I can say, oh yeah, there's a bread oven right here. It's right here. You just can't see it because the wall's gone. Because I'm not feeling good, I'm drinking tea and I'm like leaving little wet spots everywhere. I need to be careful with my minis. Okay, I lost the piece of plastic, found the piece of plastic. I think the next step, you know what? I'm a liar. I haven't even said anything. I was gonna say I need to install the plastic like glass window thing, but I actually think what I need to do next is dry brush this because I don't want to dry brush it once the plastic, and you can't really see it, but I want to dry brush it first. And as we all know, if you've watched literally any video of mine ever, I hate dry brushing with a passion. I'm also just gonna use this darker brown to dry brush it. I hate dry brushing. I love the way it looks. Oh no, is this separating? That's weird. It's not even that old. I love the way it looks. I love other people's ability to do it. My ability to do it is non-existent. We're gonna go ahead. I feel like I need something smaller. We're gonna try and dry brush this, or I guess you're gonna get my live reaction because I hate doing it. Get almost all of it off. But I feel like people say that and then you can't even see it. Like, look, absolutely nothing. So maybe not so much off, but then if you do too much, it looks bad. So I don't know. I mean, I guess. Can you even tell? I mean, yeah, okay, you can kind of tell. Are these like two similar colors? Is that my issue? Let me do the back. Yeah, okay, they are very similar, so maybe that's the issue, but I don't want it to stand out that much, the dry brushing. At least I didn't think I did, but now I'm just wondering if it's not different enough. Is this even a different color? I'm gonna grab a darker brown because you literally cannot, I mean, you can tell because it's wet, but you can't tell at all. So I'm gonna grab a darker brown. I found this, which is espresso, which in the bottle looks lighter than this one, but it's not. I don't know. I also poured out too much. I'm wasting paint. Let's do the back first. I feel myself deteriorating very quickly, sickness-wise, so I need to speed it up, or I worry I won't be able to finish this video, at least not for a while. Okay, that's better. It's a little streaky, but like, I kind of want it to be, I'm trying to think of like how to describe what I'm going for. I was about to describe it, I realized that's just dry brushing. I was like, I want the high points to be darker and the low points to be lighter. Yeah, congratulations. That's literally just dry brushing. But I do like the varying colors. I think this is helping it look more like real wood too, because something, you know, I mentioned this earlier, but one of the things is I wish I could have made this out of wood, but I'm not good at making things out of wood. It's something I'd like to learn. I should have done this side first because I just realized this is going to be glued against a wall, so it won't even matter what it looks like. But I'd like to learn how to work more with wood in miniatures, but I'm a little scared too. It also just costs more. I mean, that color looks fine. It's making it look kind of like
grungy, like lived in, which is what I like. It doesn't have to look perfect. I like this better though, the back. You can kind of see it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then I guess we're okay with this for now. I don't hate it. I feel like you can really see my brush strokes though, which is weird. Actually, I quite like the way that looks. Quite like that. I don't know why I'm becoming British when I get sick. I like that. Can you see it? Kind of. See, it makes it look actually like lived in and used. See, this is why I like dry brushing, because when people do it good, it looks good. The thing is, sometimes I do it okay, and then sometimes I completely, I was gonna say bomb it, that's not the right word, but botch it. That looks much better. You know, on camera, that looks terrible. It does not look like that in real life, so I need to fix that up. I mean, I guess that means that this is the real view, is what's on camera, so I need to clean this up a little bit. There shouldn't be big gaps in the dry brushing. I gotta wait for it just to dry, so I can really see what's going on. I'm happy with how it's starting out. I'm liking it. So this is what we're working with now. It still looks a little splotchy on camera, which is strange because in person I can't really see that. Where is that at? Right here? It's very weird. In person it doesn't look splotchy. Maybe it's just the lighting? I don't know. See, look from back here it doesn't look as bad, but up close it's like, ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this alone before I overdo it. I do need to do this little corner. Now I'm gonna leave it alone. Before I overdo it, I have to dry brush these 3 pieces and then we're gonna start assembling this. It feels like it's been forever since I started working on this. It's just been a few days. You know what's really crazy about making miniatures is you just think that, oh, I'm gonna make this really small piece, it's not gonna take me very long. And then 8 hours later, this is where I'm at. I haven't worked with very many furniture kits, but I'm interested to try them out because I think it might be quicker than doing it from scratch. I'm gonna cut these in half when I install them into that, but I'm going to dry brush the whole thing as one because it'll be easier for me. Which side's the top? This side. That was just an arbitrary decision, but I had to make that decision. More than looking like just regular dry brush, these look kind of like they're worn down, which is like fine. I want it to look kind of rustic, like a bakery that's actually, you know, seeing patrons and stuff. I don't need it to be hyper polished looking. I think I'm done dry brushing. Well, the stuff's gotta dry, but then I'm done dry brushing. So I gotta figure out a way to cut this down, which is kind of an issue because this needs to be very precise. I do not enjoy cutting things like this with an X-Acto knife because it never wants to cut properly. Cool, that was perfect. I don't even know how I managed that. Oh, this part's gonna be difficult. Oh crap, I didn't think about that. This part's gonna be really difficult. Okay, so it needs to go down to here and then hide behind the top lip, which means I need to cut it about here. Let's hope that works. The moment of truth. Well, the moment of truth is it's a little too big actually, which is somehow even more nerve-wracking than cutting a whole new piece. Because now I gotta make sure to cut out just a tiny little bit. Perfect, perfect. Look at that, perfect. Okay, because this is gonna be glued in afterwards to help hold it in. Because something plastic likes to do is not stick to things. I'm getting excited. We're getting to the fun part. We're getting to the fun part where it starts looking like something. Okay, I'm gonna put some glue down on this. And then I'm gonna use a stir stick to spread it. I don't know why I do it like this. Just thought it'd be easier. Actually, if this is dry, I'll use this. Okay, this is dry. So I'm gonna use the little scrapey tool that comes with paintbrushes I'm forgetting the name of. Palette knife? Palette knife. Because I gotta be really precise with this one. Ugh, this is gonna be difficult. Okay. I was gonna say, I think I need silence as I'm talking. To myself, might I add. I'm talking to myself. This glue's gotta be pretty thin, otherwise it will squeeze out onto the front. I need to sand the edge of this really quick so I can put it in. That's the best it's gonna get. I gotta hurry up. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, I think I need to glue in the middle piece, and there the glue is coming out a little bit, which is so irritating. I think I need to get this middle piece in here though to stay on. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this in really quick. Gotta be quick about it. All right, my camera battery, nope. My camera memory card was full, so I just had to spend like a half hour clearing that out. But what I did off camera while that was doing its thing is I decided that these two sides of the like glass part are pushing forward, back a little bit. So to push them forward, I made 2 more of these like middle things, but I'm gonna put them on each side. I'm gonna glue them. They're pretty tight in here, which is purposeful. So except for that one apparently. I'm gonna push forward the like glass with this and glue it down. So that's what I'm gonna do now. All you missed was me cutting this out and painting them. And now I'm gonna glue them in. I'm gonna glue them in so that way it holds the like faux glass forward. So there's no gaps in it, because there was a little bit of a gap that looked a little strange. No one's gonna really notice this but me, but it's something that I knew was like an easy fix, so like why not go ahead and just fix it? Because if it's bothering me, it's an easy fix, I can do it. I think my voice is starting to go out. This either doesn't have enough glue, or it's not tight enough. Definitely gonna have to go back over this, because a lot of the paint's coming off. I want it to blend in better, but there we go. Ish. I can't, it's not gonna be perfect, and I need to remind myself of that. I just gotta do the best I can, because all the little things I'm noticing, no one else is gonna notice anyway. Hopefully. If you do notice and you point it out, you're just a hater. I know that I made both shelves and I even put them in here so I could get like an idea of what they'd look like. I still don't know, excuse me, if I want to put both in. There's little pieces of glue. I'd be really careful not to cut myself, not to cut anything in the miniature, just to get the glue out. Can't get it out. I just don't know if I want to put both shelves in. I feel like the gaps are way too big if I don't. Yeah, they're too big. If I don't put them in, I feel like that's big enough for like a 12th scale bread, and that's not what I want. Sometimes miniatures is just about trial and error, and I feel like I'm about to make a lot of errors. Cutting the shelves a little nerve-wracking for me because I spent so much time and energy on these that if I cut them wrong, it's not like devastating, but it's annoying. Well, these are gonna be tight fit. And by that, I mean I'm gonna have to trim it because it's bending. I'm gonna have to do some tough chops. I think this is why people seal their stuff. I often don't, and I often get weird scratches like that. That's my bad. I should know better. Not gonna lie, trimming these shelves to get these to fit is continuing to be incredibly frustrating. And in fact, I had to trim the back of these, so I'm gonna have to repaint them, but it's really frustrating. They're not exact matches, so I'm gonna glue them in a second, and then I gotta do the bottom shelves still. I'm not looking forward to, because it's just, there's just like even just the tiniest little bit of too short will cause it to not glue correctly. So I might have to put little supports and hope that I can hide them somehow. Can't do too much glue either, otherwise it will show. And key. So that one's in. Let's just hope it holds. I don't know. Let's hope it holds. I might just put a little bit back here anyway. Just gonna dab a little glue in here. And I'll just paint over it. In hopes that this will help hold it together. I'm kind of just doing whatever now and hoping that it works. This is the one I'm really worried about because it does not want to stay in. Just hope this stays. Need to put a little bit more glue right here. Some support glue. I guess all glue is support glue, but I can just see that there's a crack in there. I mean, that looks fine. Yeah, it looks close enough. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna mess with it because I'm gonna want to keep adjusting it, and it's just gonna end up falling. So I gotta let this dry at an angle. Hopes everything turns out right for the bottom shelf. The top shelf is now dry. My throat feels like it's on fire. I gotta finish this video before I'm too sick to talk anymore. Let's go ahead and get these in. Oh crap! I already forgot which one goes on which side. Nope. Maybe. Nope. That goes over here, right? This one goes over here. Yep. Okay. Okay. Typically, I label all my parts so I don't mess up like this and forget what goes where, but I forgot to label it this time. Okay, we're gonna have to do our best and hope for the best. Nope, okay, that's definitely not in the right position. Oh no, don't knock off the top shelf while you're trying to do this. Almost, I think I can fix this. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good shelf. Let's put in the other one. This one I'm a little bit more worried about because it is a little bit looser, so I'm gonna have to be careful not to have it fall. Look, I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I think these shelves look pretty equal. Heck yeah. More or less. They don't have to be perfect. Does that look right? Heck yeah. Okay. Since the top is actually already dry, I'm gonna go ahead and just paint it now instead of letting it sit for a while. You know what? I don't need more. I let my paint sit long enough that the top part dries, but not the bottom. I'm a mess. You don't come here for perfection. So I'm gonna just paint over this really quick. I'm gonna have to dry brush over it too to get it to blend in more, but that's fine. Honestly, I kind of like the different color on the back. Does that sound like Yoda? I kind of like that color. It kind of makes it stand out a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. I was not expecting that, but I really like that. I like that it stands out. Kind of gives it a nice little trim piece. Now this part I will dry brush again. It's just, I noticed you can see some of the white of the mat board in between the two pieces, so that I will dry brush again. But as far as these shelf edges go, I really like the different color. I feel like it kind of makes it just stand out a little bit better. That makes this shelf look really crooked, but it's not. I promise. When I'm looking at it head on, it's not crooked. It must be the angle. They're more or less the same. Don't make me second guess it, camera. Now it just needs to dry, and then I'm gonna call it done. That is that on that, and this is this on this. It's really shocking to me how tiny 24th scale furniture is, and this is pretty big, I feel like, for a 24th scale furniture because it's a double one. So it, like, imagine if this was only like half this. I kind of like how that looks. I don't regret making a double, but that looks kind of cute too. It's always shocking to me how tiny the furniture is. This made me want to make one in 12 scale though, because that's like my preferred scale. And I just think it'd be fun to have like a bigger full scale one. And it kind of made me want to make another shop in 12 scale. I don't know what kind, but this, for some reason, the old Willy Wonka movie, the one where there's like the Candyman scene and they're like singing in the candy store, that's what this reminded me of. And I don't really know why. It also kind of reminds me of Calico Critter furniture. And I know Calico Critters are 24 scale, so I guess that makes sense. But look how tiny it is. Can you even see it? It's barely on screen. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The shelves are maybe not completely lined up correctly. I think they might be a tiny bit off, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not going for perfection. I'm just going for I like it, and I do like this. Also, once it's in the room, you can't really tell anyway because it's at a slant. If I can show you. This is, I again, never thought about how difficult it would be to film in a 24 scale project. But because it's at a slant, you can't see anyway. And to be honest, I realized after putting it in here, you're not gonna see most of this. You're gonna see it at like a slant, but a lot of the stuff is going to not be super obvious. So. Also, I feel like the more stuff you put in a room, the less people are paying attention to singular items and more of the room as a whole. So I'm not really worried about it because at least that's how I view dollhouses and dioramas. I look at the room as a whole rather than like an individual piece. Except that's not actually true because sometimes I see pieces that I really like and I'm like, look at that specific thing. But I don't know. I'm not worried about it in this project because it's not perfect. But again, I'm just going for it. I like it. Not perfect. I'm about to go take some NyQuil and lay down and go to bed because I'm getting incredibly sick. But I just want to say that I very much appreciate you being here. I really do. It means the world to me that you're watching these videos because I like making miniatures and I like the miniature community and I want to grow this community. I appreciate every single one of you. Yeah, I just do. I just like saying it. I feel like I don't say it enough how much I really appreciate all the people that subscribe to this channel and watch the videos. So having said that, if you like me, or you like miniatures, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and I will see you in my next video where I'm hopefully not sick. Goodbye!